Are we better off now under Biden-Harris, or is it time to go back to growth? I ask you, Senator Tuberville.
Larry, if we don't start growing this country, we're going to be in bad trouble. I saw where the Harris regime has stolen something from Venezuela, communist Venezuela, price caps. Okay, they're going to put price caps on. And of course, they stole President Trump's no tax on tips. But the thing I want to say, Larry, is 2.9% inflation rate is what the White House released today. If you believe that, I'll sell you some beachfront property in Birmingham, Alabama. It is way up there. Gas prices are up. All the groceries are up. And it's just absolutely amazing how they try to sell this to the American people right before the election. But we're in bad shape. But President Trump has the answers. As you said, Larry, we have to grow this country. Free market principles have made this country the most prosperous ever. And it's just absolutely amazing to me that people don't understand that.
You know, those CPI numbers and the other price indexes, by the way, as an aside, they do not include personal borrowing costs. They do not include interest rates on car loans, on mortgages, 25% on new credit cards, for example. None of that stuff is in the CPI. It really ought to be.
Larry, go buy some insurance. Home insurance, car insurance, they have skyrocketed. And it's absolutely amazing that people don't really look and understand what's going on. A lot of it's because of the crime. A lot of it's because of illegal immigration, because of things that are going on. It's something that people just look at one thing in food prices. But as you said, the interest rates, they say they're going to drop them, but who cares? They're going to drop them 0.25%. It makes no difference. The American people are struggling. They can't pay their bills. They can't send their kids to schools with the right things to have in terms of learning. This is a tough time for the American citizen, American family.
Senator Tuberville, let me just play a little more tape from Trump's speech in North Carolina yesterday. Have a listen, please, sir.
And this is how we will end the era of inflation, mayhem, and misery. Unleash economic abundance for Americans of every race, religion, color, and creed. Together, we will deliver low taxes, low regulations, low energy costs, low interest rates, low inflation, so that everyone can afford groceries, a car, and a home. Everyone will prosper, every family will thrive, and every day will be filled with opportunity, hope, and joy.
So there you have it. For those folks who were concerned that he was off message, I got to say he was sure back on message. What do you think of that? Is he back on message now?
100%. Low taxes, low regulations, and free market principles, Larry. That's what the American people need. We got to give people a chance. Right now, we're not giving them a chance with the Biden-Harris administration. We're not going to give them a chance if we put these people in there in terms of Biden-Harris or Biden-Walz, whatever that group is, and give them the same playbook. They need to change the playbook. They could change it right now. Kamala Harris says she's going first day, she's going to bring prices down. How about doing it right now for the American people, not wait till January the 20th?
Good point. I like that point about Venezuelan price controls. You know, we've done studies. This is an old saw. Joe Biden said this. We're going to price gouging meat companies and chicken poultry companies. And then studies were done by all these agencies. They came up with nothing. Then San Francisco Fed, which is not known for its conservatism, nonetheless, they came out with a study that said so-called price gouging had nothing to do with inflation in the U.S. And then they always talk about corporate greed. And we're going to hear more. This is going to be Kamala Harris's big economic speech tomorrow. This is so tired and so hackneyed. You know, we've known for now 50 years, ever since Richard Nixon made the mistake, that price controls never work. And when the price controls come off, prices come shooting up anyway because of demand. I mean, we've known this. How tired and hackneyed is that kind of approach?
Larry, I can remember back in the 1970s when I was a young guy, the city governments put caps on rent. And absolutely almost destroyed the inner cities in terms of apartments because nobody built apartments. If you can't rent them for what you need to get your money back out of them, if you're the developer, there's no reason to build, and that's exactly what's going to happen here. I'm anxious to hear her economic speech because it's been a disaster for the last 3.5 years. It'll continue to be that because it's going to be all socialism, give away, make the American people send in tax money. Like in July, American tax people saying $330 billion, but we spent $545 billion. We can't continue to do this, Larry. We are dead broke.
By the way, President Biden proposed federal rent controls for the whole country, and I bet you that Kamala Harris has that in her plank. So what you saw in the cities, which destroyed the housing stock, probably they want to do it nationwide. It's absolutely incredible. Just 2 more points, sir. First of all, interestingly to me, we did a review. Trump's polls are actually quite decent. I mean, he actually has a small lead. It's only a 1-point lead nationwide. This is New York Times, CNN, and Fox. But that's all he had with Biden. Nationwide doesn't mean much, really, because it's the swing states, but he's got that. But he's also doing very well among working-class voters. He's outperforming Harris. He's outperforming Obama. He's outperforming Joe Biden himself. Trump's doing very well, whether it's minority working-class voters or it's white working-class voters or it's all working-class voters. Now, this is his hidden weapon. He is appealing to a working-class coalition. Interestingly, nobody wants to say this, but the numbers are there. The polls suggest he's succeeding in building a working-class coalition.
He will explode after Labor Day, Larry. People are going to come to their senses. They're going to finally start hearing, hopefully, of what this administration of Harris and Walz stand for. They haven't said anything yet, but it's coming. And again, I compare it to the Senate races. I've been watching all those, been following them, going out and campaigning for senators, Larry. I'm hearing out there that we are doing very well in Senate races, and that coincides with what President Trump's doing because he's doing just as well or better.
Now, Senator, Tim Walz, governor of Minnesota, now Veep candidate, at a Boston fundraiser says, this is from the press poll, I'm going to quote, "I feel like one of my roles in this now is to be the anti-Tommy Tuberville to show that football coaches are not the dumbest people," end quote. This is a guy who was an assistant high school football coach. What is he getting at? And what is he, by the way?
Well, I think he's trying to make himself relevant. You know, I had a pretty decent career in 35 years of coaching, enjoyed every bit of it. But let me tell you, when you start comparing politics with education, it's no comparison. Education is so important in this country. He didn't last very long in it. But you got to remember this too, Larry. This is a guy that left his unit and didn't go to fight when they had to go fight in Afghanistan. He did several things in Minnesota as governor that just abandoned the police. So I don't take that with a grain of salt. I'm proud of what I did as coach, and I'm proud of the coaching profession, and I'm proud of all the kids that I work with. They were great, but he's got one step away from possibly being vice president of the United States. I don't know how he's done it, but he's worked his way up, and I guess it's by smoke and mirrors.
Smoke and mirrors. Senator Tuberville, last question. Are you fixing to be glued to your TV set and watch the Democratic National Convention in Chicago, Illinois? Are you fixing to do that, Senator?
Oh, yeah, I'm going to be fired up about it, Larry. I'm probably going to play golf real late. I've never played night golf before, but I might play night golf now.
Oh, gosh. Senator Tommy Tuberville, thank you, sir. It's wonderful to see you again.